And no, I'm not gonna crash out today. But yeah, here we are, man. Uncle Lean is in your sit. Well, I ain't gonna do that to main event. But now that y'all know what this is about. But Lean here, and that's simple enough. So I watched. So you know, Night of Champions happened yesterday. Night of Champions happened yesterday. And I must say, for a lot of people that, reserve their opinions for, WWE events in Saudi Arabia, I must say that this right here wasn't so bad. I mean, listen, you got your situations where it's like you want them to, put on a show that can rival WrestleMania or rival, Survivor Series or rival Money in the Bank even. And that just happened. But sometimes, and especially when Vince was running it, it was hamstrung because Vince was listening to when the Saudis was asking them for certain people, and Vince was so effing old and antiquated where it was like, let's see what we can do. Recall the greatest Royal Rumble. That's all I got to say about it. I'm not going to recall that for you. You recall it for your damn self. But this is what happened. But, yo, say what you want about Papa H. But I would say, in my opinion, that he delivered yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Or should I say, more on that later. But I'm just saying, I think Night of Champions was pretty good. I think it was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't jumping off my bed and shit for it, but the reason being because I just wanted, because I know how to do this, and I was gonna go live with it because, but if you don't know, you should know. I did go online on Facebook. Was like, yo, Night of Champions live or regular live. Regular live meaning basically this, Shouts to my man Harry P, who, of course, is one of my subscribers. He was talking about him, but I'm like, yo, either you get your ass a StreamYard, or I gotta pay for one to get your ass over here one-on-one. That's how it works over here on YouTube. This ain't, Facebook or none of that way. It's free. Nah, this is free with me by myself. What if I could link up for it to be a team deal? You got to get your ass in. Of course, I would have to pay it all the way. You know what I'm saying? Not saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no 50-50 modern relationship, get it? Anyway, but yeah. That being said, I will begin this new installment, which is not really a new installment for me because I did this on Vine like 100,000 years ago. Interesting that happens in front of the crib, but it's not in front of the crib. This was some interesting that happened in Saudi Arabia. Riyadh. WWE United Champions. Interesting things for real. So I got enough juice on the phone, so I won't try to hook up the damn charger. So here we go. Shout out to one of the people that peeked in and peeked out. Probably was like, oh, WWE, but why this dude running his mouth for? It's called a monologue. But as it is, I got a few notes, which ain't much because, again, I posted on Facebook because I got limited skills and abilities. Shout out to Booker T. Now that, for those who saw that on Booker T and they correlated to my little video, we begin with King of the Ring Finals. Legacy implodes. Nah, no, they didn't, because it was already cool. But you got two big players in the game. You got the American Nightmare, former WWE champion for a year, Cody Rhodes, versus the Viper, the Legend Killer, 14-time champion Randy Orton. And like I said, I only jot down a little bit of notes, and then the rest I try to come up with the top of my head. But methodical match, to begin. And when I say methodical match, I'm talking about slow pace. Collar Noble tie up, back into the corner, and back up. 80 shit. I can curse right now because I'm way past 2 minutes. But yeah, that's what they did. And then, fill themselves out, period. Like they didn't wrestle each other before. And then I love the way Michael Cole, and this is why Michael Cole, hold on, drink with me. I ain't showing y'all no more because y'all got to take my word for it. But the point of the matter is, the fill out period, and it's like Michael Cole, who, listen, I get the, sidebar. If McAfee's gonna be out for a while, if McAfee's gonna be out for a while, then I will be like this. Let Michael Cole and Wade Barrett run it. You know what I'm saying? I used to feel that way about Corey Graves, but keep his ass on NXT. I mean, seriously. Because Wade Barrett and Michael Cole got that dynamic. It's not Michael Cole and Taz on SmackDown from 02 on to whenever they finished. But I will say this. I was about to say I don't see Wade Barrett other than Michael Cole, although I like him with Joe Test. Joe Test and Michael Cole, and Wade Barrett are good. However, if, in fact, Pat McAfee still, need time to find his smile, and that's not the reason why he's been out, but I'm just saying, I just equated it because I'm trying to keep it wrestling. But if it happens to be that way with Pat McAfee, and I know football season's coming, but if it needs to be that way, let Wade Barrett roll with him. Let it be that way. Let Michael Cole and Wade Barrett just carry the PLEs. I finally said it. I said PLEs. I did say it in front of my this side. Second sidebar. I'm talking to my mother. I'm like, yo. Because when she said, what pay-per-views? I'm like, Ma, they don't have pay-per-views. I just still call it that. But, But that's another story for another day. But here we go. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, they have the fill out period, and then they end up, getting serious and trying to fight the win. And then this one I gave my keynote. Saudi was lit. Trust me, all night. Well, for the most part. But for this match, I won't say front to end because there's laws. But the crowd, they've been listening to what's been going on in America. Let me just put it in the Western world. Let me just put it like that. Because if you don't know, you should know. The crowd like to shift. We like to lose our interest after a while. So the crowd was pro Randy. They wanted Randy to be the king of the ring. You know what I'm saying? While they were singing voices, while they were singing Kingdom, They were booing Cody Rhodes during the match. I must say that. They were booing Cody during the match. In key parts of the match. When it looked like that Randy Orton was gonna win, when he was hitting RKOs all over the place, and then it looked like that he was gonna win because he lined up in the corner. He was ready to do that punt kick, but then he's like, "Nah, I can't do that. That's Cody. That's Cody. I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a legend myself. I shouldn't resort to doing that shit." But then you realize it's like, wait a minute. I heard what you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I said what I said on SmackDown. So it's like, boom, I'm gonna do it. By the time he decided, Cody got out the way. I think he hit a crossroads after that. And then mad kickouts, RKOs, kick out. Crossroads, kick out. Cody cut his kick out. And then there was a point in the match where Randy Orton goes out of the ring, gets a chair. Now, in plain sight of the referee, but he ran in the ring anyway. It's like, yo, I'm about to do this. And then the ref was like, nah, you know you're going to get disqualified. You may as well not do that shit. So it's like, all right, cool. He throws the chair out. You know what I'm saying? The referee is making sure that the referee took the chair from Isaiah Say. So while he's handing that back to the timekeeper, whatever the hell, Randy goes to the turnbuckle, to the corner, and takes the top turnbuckle off, exposing the steel. So he's gonna set Cody up, right? Well, again, student versus the teacher, right? So Randy tries to throw Cody into the rope. Cody blocks it and then runs Randy into the ropes rib first. Which, you know what I'm saying, softens Randy just enough for Cody to hit him with one final crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes is the 2025 King of the Ring. And let's face it, sorry to let him have it. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. Let me just run it back real quick. Because Cody was getting booed throughout, you know what I'm saying, most of the final parts of the match. Because Saudi wanted Randy to win to the point where whenever Randy started hitting Cody, you got the cheers. Cody started hitting back. Basically, it was the yeah, boo, yeah, boo, yeah, boo between two faces. However, Cody was the one getting the boos. Now, fast forward back to the finish. Cody wins. Cody's getting booed. While you got probably kids going, whoa. But it's like Cody was getting booed. And when Saxton, I don't know if the more boos was for Cody or was for Saxton, more on that later. You know what I'm saying? Even though they was chanting for Saxton, more on that later. Anyway, Saxton goes into the ring to interview Cody, and Randy Orton is like slowly leaving the ring, but standing there, he's looking heated. You know what I'm saying? As if, bro, how the fuck you gonna do that shit to me? Yeah, I know I did it, but yeah. But more on that later, you know what I'm saying? More on that to really look at in the future. But Cody gets interviewed and he puts Randy over. He does put Randy over, but he's acknowledging the boos. There you go, my keynotes. He's acknowledging the boos. And he's letting them know it's like, yo, I hear y'all. But what's happening right now, I hear y'all. And y'all know Randy's a Hall of Famer. But understand this. I'm getting my ball back. Hence the, QB1. He's like, So it's like, and that's a recurring theme to come in this PLE. Just letting y'all know that. You know? So yeah. Point of the matter is, Cody's a 2025 King of the Ring, and he's going to Jersey to face the WWE champion. Next up, because I was watching on Peacock, so I didn't see the build-ups. You know what I'm saying? I don't get to see the build-ups because I don't got premium, goddammit. But anyway, next up, the Riyadh Boulevard street fight. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. Interesting match. Drink with me. You ain't gonna see what I drink. You might see what I drink. Fuck this good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Alright, the rest was just water. But so yeah, Riyadh Boulevard street fight. First of all, I did not know it was Riyadh Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? I don't frequent myself around Saudi Arabia that much, but good action in that match, because you know the drill. Rhea leaves Judgment Day. Now Liv and whoever is down with Liv is gonna try to dismantle her, right? But she's Rhea Bloody Ripley. So hard-hitting action to begin, and then we go to my keynotes. Because it's like, you know, this is what it is. But plenty of action outside the ring. You know these females are trying to hurt each other. And then, for some particular reason, Rhea decides to take the hood of the Arabic announce table and then drape it over the railing where the timekeeper sits. Alright, cool. Alright, no problem. But of course, wrestling trope, you initiate some things, you end up sabotaging yourself. And that's exactly what happened to Rhea Ripley. Raquel takes Rhea and suplexes her through the hood of the table into the timekeeper spot. As they continue to fight, Rhea eventually gains the upper hand. Rhea eventually gains the upper hand, and then here comes Roxanne Perez. Sees Raquel Rodriguez in peril. Here she come to try to, take Rhea out. But, to no avail, of course. Rhea gets up, eventually knocks Roxanne out the ring, and then goes under the ring, finds a trash can, dumps it over her head, and then basically hits a shining wizard over her shit. You know what I'm saying? And if I ain't saying it that accurately, you know why. But it looked like a shining wizard type move. She kicked her right across the can in the face, but it looked like a shining wizard. I was thinking Hurricane right there. But fast forward to the end. There's a table placed over the top rope. First of all, it was on the corner. It was on the corner turnbuckles. But neither Rhea or Raquel could put each other through it. So with the table now placed above the corner, but basically on the top turnbuckle, and it kind of needed some rough support because they could have busted their ass if it was been botched. But what happened was Rhea incapacitated Raquel just enough to hit a wicked super riptide off the table that sat on the top turnbuckle. 1, 2, 3. Your winner of the Riyadh Boulevard Street Fight, Rhea Bloody Ripley. Hey, good match. I ain't gonna front, good match. The crowd was excited for that. Not to say it was like, you know, the momentum off the Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes match. I guess because the crowd didn't believe that shit opened the event. But good match. You know what I'm saying? You look at it in retrospect, I would have rather this let off. But, you know, Papa H. Then we go to match 3. Match 3, I think, told the second best story. Truth be told, I think it did. You know, because not counting anything else as far as like, all right, the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring, it's a tournament. I ain't really telling no goddamn stories. But Sammy and Karen Cross, that really did tell a story. Because let's walk through the journey, or at least a little bit, of Karrion Kross. Ever since the Final Testament and Paul Ellering was done, Karrion basically had to fend for himself. He's a Final Testament, right? They were the Final Testament. And Karrion Kross, when he was leading the Final Testament, he was telling people how they wasn't worth nothing unless they listened to the devil on their shoulder. That was a group thing. I don't know if y'all noticed, but that was a group thing. But they didn't get that much burn. So once Akam, Razor, and Paul Ellering was shown the door. So it's like, leave it to him and Scarlett, right? Let him be a one-man villain. And it kind of worked. But it didn't work with Sami Zayn. At least not right now. You know what I'm saying? Telling everybody else where it's like, you know, everybody would change. Basically, trying to compare him to a pre-Fiend Bray Wyatt. You think I wouldn't check that out, right? But the point of the matter is, it was working. Not so much. People wasn't listening to Karen. They were like, yo, you full of shit. You blowing hot air. So his main target was Sami Zayn, because how everybody knows Sami Zayn. Everybody loves Sami Zayn, right? Storyline I'm still dealing with. So it's like, how it got set up. You're not gonna be world champion, Sami. You knew you was losing the King of the Ring. You ain't got it. So Sami's like, all right. Then punched him in his face. And he was like, yo, the match is official. NOC. And then he left. Scarlett and Karrion laughing because it's like, I got him. I'm going to Saudi Arabia. So there we go. Match goes on. Karrion, I mean, he was just basically killing Sami Zayn. Do a good first half of the match. And then the fire comes up. I ain't got that much good keynotes for this, but it's like the fire comes up. Sami hitting some key moves. Karrion kicking out. And then starts dominating again. This was basically Sami Zayn having to punch himself off the ropes. Basically, if I could use a boxing reference. He had to just do that. But he did just enough to hit some key moves on Karrion. You know, not throwing him around, but he hit the Blue Thunder Bomb, which, you know, which pins nobody, but it got the crowd excited. And let me tell you something, because Sami Zayn is Muslim, you know, he had the home field advantage. He had the home court advantage, you know. And me personally, that's what's up. But Karrion Kross healing it up as only he can do, smacking Sami around. He had Sami tapping out for a minute until he didn't, which means he didn't overall. But because the way they did it was how they do it nowadays in WWE. If you're getting choked out, one arm down, that's it. But they did it, they did it 80s style, Saturday night's main event style. And Ref Bay was in the ring. If you know who Ref Bay is, you know who Ref Bay is. If you don't know, you should know. You know what I'm saying? She called herself Ref Bay. I'm not calling her Ref Bay because she cute, but I mean she is cute. But the point of the matter is, she calls herself Ref Bay, and that's what I call it. So Ref Bay she did the 80s joint. 3 arms down, that's it. And I guess because it was Sami Zayn. I think if it was anybody else's, 1 arm down and then ring the bell. I don't know that. Don't judge me on that. But the point of the matter is, the 3rd time up, Sammy'd up. So he getting his ass whooped in the corner, right? Getting smacked in his face by Karrion Kross. Say that I'm right. Say that Kross told the truth. Say that you a liar. This is what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's audible on the show. It's audible on the show. So that was like a few times he's running through the turnbuckles and smacking this dude in the face and be like, yo, clotheslining him. Sammy taking the impact. He's getting his ass whipped. So he says this one more time. Say that Karrion Kross is right. He goes to the turnbuckle. But Sammy's following him. Haluva kick. 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn defeats Karrion Kross in Riyadh. Underdog ending for Sammy. That's what I wrote down. Because he was getting his ass whooped the whole match. But I was like, yo, that is a good, very well. I would like to know if Bobby Roode produced that match. But fantastic win for Sami Zayn. He leaves Riyadh again victorious. And Karrion Kross, who knows what happens to him in Pittsburgh, because that's where Raw's at. But we move on to the U.S. title. The champion, all gas, no brakes, Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa, taking it all. Now, I didn't know at all that this match was going to be so overbooked. Yeah, spoilers. But this was overbooked as hell. But let me just go down the way I wrote it down on my keynotes, because the Saudi crowd was all Jacob, to the exact point where the crowd, they basically wanted Jacob to squash Solo. You know what I'm saying? They wanted Jacob to squash Solo, because soon as Solo got offense in the match, the crowd was like, fuck you, Solo. Fuck you, Solo. Fuck you, Solo. That was basically a whole certain part of the match. And while it was chanting fuck you, Solo, Jacob, as he was taking advantage of the match by himself, by the way, he's telling Jacob, I loved you. You never loved me. That's why I'm gonna take your title. I gotta take your ass out. I loved you, Jacob. I loved you, Jacob. Constant taunting throughout the whole match. And then Jacob had enough, started beating Solo's ass from pillar to post. But then that's when the shenanigans happened. Tonga Loa. He was a hooded figure. Tonga Loa comes up first. You know? No, matter of fact, he didn't come up first. JC Mateo came up first through the ramp. Through the ramp, he started running down. And then Jacob handed him his ass. And then Tonga Loa comes out. Because he was the hooded figure. And that's what the bloodline do. Whoever's in the hooded figure is just going to come up. Well, at least that's what we thought, right? So, Jacob's still holding his own. Whooping ass all over the place. Then, after he does the prettiest moonsault ever, I'm sorry, but that's what I call it now, that Tiffy Tom's been doing it. After he does the PME, you're not going to change my mind about this. Then, who comes out, pulls him out of the ring? Because remember, there was a ref bump. This dude, Hikuleo, who's been signed, but was waiting for the purpose that it's funny how these Samoan cats get signed and then get the you know what I'm saying, they breakout deal do effing PLE, but in Saudi Arabia, by the way. But anyway, we won't go there. But Hikuleo, who is now known as Tala Tonga now, I couldn't just go through with that because I wasn't even going to get to the post show. I don't feel like doing the post show. I don't care how comedic Solo Sikoa ended up being. But Hikuleo Tala Tonga pulls Jacob out of the ring and then started whipping his ass, and then he's goozing him, saying, you wanted everything. You had everything. You wanted everything. And then choke slams him, trying to through the table, but he landed on the table. The table didn't break. Botchamania table. You know what I'm saying? And then throws him in the ring. Samoan Spike by Solo. 1, 2, 3. He's your new U.S. champion. Now, I got some bonus takes on that, and I put it in my notes. But here's the deal. Now that you have Tonga Loa back, Solo, Hikuleo, Tala Tonga, and JC Mateo, and you gotta know Tama Tonga's coming back. I don't even think nothing wrong with Tama Tonga. I think he just sat out because Tonga Loa was hurt. You got your 5. Bloodline. It's going to be Bloodline against Bloodline in the Survivor Series again. I already know that. So what do you do when you got your heels? You got your heels. The faces are outnumbered. Now, this is why I put down. It's like possible long. Do I have to show it to y'all? But I'm reading it right now. I said possible long game setup for Survivor Series Raw Games, which is in San Diego, by the way. Shouts out to San Diego, California. But, you know what I'm saying? 619. Ray. Dum. Anyway. I'm just saying. Let's think about this for a second before I get to the last 2 matches. Because I wrote this down I wrote this in parentheses for a reason. Because I knew I was going to have to speak on this shit. You got another blood. Yo, this is going to be the 3rd Survivor Series, I believe, that's dominated by the Bloodline. Papa H is loving this shit. I'm just saying. Think about it. On one end, you got to believe it's going to be 5 of them on Solo side. Solo, Tama, Tala, Tonga, and JC Mateo. What do you think's gonna happen on the face side? Jacob, Big Jim, Jay, Roman, Zilla. It gotta happen. Zilla's gotta happen. Ain't gonna be no. I don't want to see Sammy. No. fuck Sammy. Not to say really for sure, but I'm just saying, if you want a real bloodline joint, and don't come at me in the comment section talking about Rock. No. Rock's still healing. He's still healing. That's it. When Roman comes back from Street Fighter 6, unless Jason Momoa's gonna be with him, it gotta be Zilla. Who's Zilla, by the way? Umaga's son, Zilla. And he signed. So Zilla. That's gonna be ill. But I'm just spitballing. I digress. Let's go to Queen of the Ring Finals. I really want to go to Queen of the Ring Finals. Let's go to Queen of the Ring Finals. Jade Cargill against Asuka. First of all, I didn't appreciate Peacock not playing the music. You know what I'm saying? For Jade Cargill, I had to watch it muted while she's going in the ring with Asuka. Y'all really got to get it together. You and Netflix, fuck y'all. But here to go. The match itself, I think the crowd died. That's just me. Is it me or was it my Peacock feed? But I will say this. I think the crowd died a little bit. And to the point where it was inevitable that, the Saudi crowd was feeding off of what happened in America. They love us. But the point of the matter is, I say that to say this. The crowd booed the fuck out of Jade. They did. They were pro Asuka, but in order to be pro somebody, you gotta boo somebody, right? Just like Cody got booed, Jade Cargill boos was more vocal than Cody's. Because at least cats loved, Cody. They had the song to sing. Jade Cargill has no lyrics in her song. So I guess that's why the crowd got pissed off. They booed the fuck out of Jade. You know what I'm saying? And Jade knew it. She was like, yo, just because they booed you, don't worry about it. Just keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? I guess the thing is, it's like, don't turn heel right away because you're in Saudi Arabia. I don't know. Y'all can quote me on that. Y'all can chop me up and put that in the comment section and put it on your shorts or whatever. I give y'all permission to do that. But that's what I think that was. At any rate, Jade did win and botched up a pin. And I guess that's probably why they was booing her. Jade botched quite a few times in that match. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, how heavy did Asuka get with Jade, who's fucking chiseled for a female? She's jacked, and she can't pick. Never mind. Let's get to the main event. I'm done with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Let's get to the main event. John Cena versus CM Punk. WWE title on the line. Entertaining as fuck. Now, let's get the keynotes because the entrances is fired always. Cena just doing what he needs to do. He knows how to perform. You know what I'm saying? Pissing niggas off. Never seen 17. But you know what I'm saying? Punk comes in the ring. Again, the entrances are the entrances. But of course, ever since CM Punk set foot to Saudi Arabia, half the fans is like chanting his name. Half the fans letting him have it for what the hell he did to The Miz. Not even to The Miz, but he was talking about, filleting the blood money penis. So, and people are still mad at him for that. And I'm quite sure as he boarded the airport, there's still people mad at him for that. However, he did go, you know what I'm saying? Side note, he did, because I watched the kickoff a little bit, he did apologize. But, they ain't mother love because they ain't forgive nor forget it. If you know, you know. That's my deal. But the point of the matter is, Saudi Arabia was still mad at him for that. Sweet. And they let him know in the arena. Even though a lot of them still chant CM Punk, Punk life and whatever. That was a good promo. But yeah. And then I had to jot this down because as watching, I'm like, oh really? 15th match between the two, 8th for the WWE title. So they was basically main eventing against each other for a lot of times, not just the notable times. But a lot of action being done. And even they were methodical for a bit, but then it's like to go from methodical, slow pace to false finish, and then y'all wanna do multiple finishes and stuff like that. But then again, kind of how a high profile championship match should be. But then is where it got interesting. You had Cena gaining momentum, but Punk, knowing Cena so well, gets out the way from a second shoulder block. There goes the referee, and CM Punk going for the pin, of course, but of course no ref in the ring. He knew it was his fault, so it's like, all right, can we wait for somebody to come in? But then, burn it down. Here comes Seth and the Goon Squad. And Seth like, yo, he taking off his jacket like, we about to cash in for the triple threat match real quick. And then, Punk like, yeah, if I gotta get my ass whooped to avoid this, let's go. So they attack Punk. And then eventually Cena, because of the fact that Charles Robinson tries to run in the ring and play crooked referee for whatever reason. And then Cena basically pounces him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all can talk about shoulder tackles all y'all want, but that was the POUNC pouncer. Period. If y'all know, you know. If you don't know, you should know. But I'll let you know. Monty Brown, TNA. Let's go. Marcus Covon, ECW, whatever. But Ref Bumps was involved. Seth and the crew attacks Punk and Cena. Then it got interesting because while Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker tried to do the dirty work, which they did for a minute, in comes Penta first. Then comes Sami Zayn to even the odds, at least try to. And then, interestingly enough, CM Punk and John Cena disposes of the Carnage to get back in the ring together. In other words, they kind of help each other out. So, once that happens, alright, CM Punk like, yo, good looks. Offers to shake his hand. Cena takes his hand, shakes his hand. But then, the Elimination Chamber happens again. Cena, blank stare, ready to Rochambeau CM Punk, just like he did Cody Rhodes. But CM Punk is a smart man. Because when Cena got ready, CM Punk was like, bitch. Was about to GTS him. But then Seth Rollins comes back in, nails Punk with the Money in the Bank briefcase, stomps him, and then Cena throws Seth Rollins out, and then pins Punk for the 1, 2, 3. John Cena is still your never seen 17 last real champion. So he leaves like that. We'll see what happens to SummerSlam. Like I said, good show. Good show. I'm just looking to see what's going to happen in Jersey. Because once again, MetLife better be lit. I'll tell you right now, I'm from the tri-state area. So I ask you, New Jersey, get loud, get lit, and get fucking loose. That's all I ask y'all. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. And that's my daughter's birthday, by the way. My daughter's birthday weekend. Yeah, I put it out there. But the point of the matter is, get loud, get lit, get loose. And let's see if we're gonna keep this title stingy or get the titles a changing. Get some stories a changing. Because this is a big event. Now I know we got more to go in between then. So, you know what we waiting for? We waiting for Saturday night's main event, where Goldberg retires. And then we got Evolution 2. You know what I'm saying? Something to look forward in July. But like I said, on that note, whoever sat here peeking in and out, you know what I'm saying? Shouts to y'all. Glad you got some seconds out of me. And then for those watching on the playback, shouts to y'all. Glad y'all got this whole time out of me. And on that note, I'm gonna get back to drinking my water. And again, thanks for tuning in to this first installment of interesting that happens. Well, this happened to be Night of Champions. I'll probably do something in front of the crib. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. If you don't know, you should know. But Uncle Lean is going to continue keeping the tools. And I hope y'all do the same thing as well. I will see y'all later. I'm gone. Comment below if you feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Shouts to my subscribers, old and new. You know what I'm saying? And recent. Y'all, I really appreciate y'all. So it is what it is, y'all. I love y'all, for real. And always keep it tools. I'm gone.